So my coffee shop was closed, so no order for me. So I had to settle for one of those hosted pink coconut covered chocolate cakes with snowballs. Just fitting because I live in Alaska. Who doesn't eat snowballs? I'm gonna be out here looking for some moose antlers. I did find some bull moose tracks. It's right when they should be losing them. Should be right on time, but we'll see. Stream is still flowing here. I guess I maybe should have brought my gold pan, but I'm still injured, so I'm just hobbling very slowly on my knee. I don't want to injure it any worse. Even if I was to like slide through some deep snow with my foot right now, it would really be painful. What kind of tracks are these? Some kind of canine? Yeah, some kind of canine. Maybe a fox. Maybe a young coyote. So I kind of just look at this. If the Lord is willing to bless me with finding something cool out here, that's what it'll be. Isn't that pretty? And see, this water goes up and down so fast. It's like the water sliding across the top of the ice and then dropping. Making really interesting sounds. People are gonna be missing out. Here's some more of the creek. I could still pan gold here this winter. Usually this ice is so thick you could drive a tank across it. And this valley is already flooded a couple times. You can see the track of the water where it was all the way up here. And the river is actually above me right there because of an ice jam. So I'm like, 3 feet below river level here right now. But it's not flowing backwards down into here because there's so much ice jamming it up. And that can change really fast. Now we're walking up to the river. And I'm actually on the flooded part of the river right now, on the ice on the edge. There's a big ice jam further down. And usually I'm walking back and forth across the whole river. This time of year, you can see a bunch of old tracks in there. Is that a brown bear? Looks like brown bear tracks right there. It's been so warm that the bears have woke back up. Yep, some faded out brown bear tracks. Some wolf tracks. They're in the ice that have gotten kind of made a little bit blurry by the water being soft. Some more canine tracks, either a fox or a coyote. You can see all these willows get chewed off like bonsai trees. That's why it's so thick right there and so thin up above. You can see where the moose have been eating them down for generations upon generations upon generations. Gardeners of the forest. And that makes thick dense cover for the rabbits to live beneath in the thickness of the branches. Snowshoe hares. You can see the fox like these little high spots. There's some turkey tail mushrooms making it through the winter. And some of those beautiful gravels out of the river. And there's some moose tracks. There's some moose hair frozen onto that branch. See how big those moose tracks are compared to my huge mucklucks. Maybe I'll walk this way when I come around the other side. We've had so many wolves this year that there's been almost no moose around all year. You can imagine how beautiful it must have been here. We still had the cave bison, a place of seeing horses that had fangs and wolf paws that were zebra striped on the back calf and brown on the front. And the woolly mammoth, saber-toothed tigers, cave bears. You can see the moose aren't crossing as much as they like. There's something watching me from out in the trees out there because it just broke a big stick. It could be a bear, could be a moose, could be wolves. People are terrified to come out into the woods by themselves, into the bush. I don't worry, I don't fear anymore. It's God's will, it's God's will. And see that big globule of ice hanging from that tree. That's really interesting. It's from when we had the heavy wet snow and it just turned to clear ice like a wasp nest made out of ice. Looks like the moosies they always use the rivers to travel in the winter. But then they gnaw on the brush along the sides of the riverbanks on the way down, and that's like the winter forage. And then in the spring and summer, they move out toward the interior of the muskeg lakes and spend time in the lakes and ponds to get away from the mosquitoes and bugs. Dare I do it? I think not on that very spot, maybe further up. Let's be really careful with my leg in here. Frozen moose poop with ice crystals that grew on the top of the poops because it was so cold at night and the poops were hot. It's like moose poop butterflies. This is a frozen creek here I'm on top of. This section is safe. That section up there is not. If you see something that I missed, just scream real loud. It just goes back towards the road. I'm gonna go up there. I want to go back the other way, towards the other end of the river eventually, once I turn around here. That's some interesting tracks. What is that? Boy, that might be a wolverine, because that's how they run. Yeah, look at that. Or maybe an otter, a river otter. Let's see what they do, and that will tell us for sure. I'm kind of leaning towards a river otter now. And if so, I'm so glad they're back, because I haven't seen them in a couple years here. I used to have a whole family of them that would squeak and run around by me. Ooh, I think it might be a river otter. Make sure I don't fall through the ice. Yep. Pretty sure. Oh, that's so cool. So I'm on the river here, so I got to navigate carefully. Yeah, I'm a river otter tracks. Usually this is frozen solid in the winter, so they aren't up here. That's kind of cool to see. You can see how the river gets changed so much. These big chunks of ice come up. They're just like a rototiller and till up all the soil. And it brings new stuff out. There's always the rare chance I could find a cave bison skull or a mammoth tusk sticking out of that silt. Or you could fall under this ice and get swept under it with no way out and drowned. It's very dangerous. There's a lot of water under me yet, even though it doesn't look like it. So I don't see any easy places to cross that I dare do this time. I probably could get away with going across some of these pressure ridges, but something could shift. All it takes is one piece to let loose and for this whole formation to just go sliding further downriver. So we'll head back the other way. I've been on top of these ice blocks along the side of the river before. They're like 20 feet thick, clear, solid ice, just busted up into chunks. Hope everyone's enjoying this. I'll read the comments real quick. Oh, the water's like half and half frozen. Having a hard time. Let me brighten this up a little bit. There we go. Howdy, Tiziano. Howdy, Positive Words. It's just below freezing. Hi, Sabrina. Houston sounds hot. I don't even know what that's like. Warm weather, huh? That's weird. What do people do in warm weather? So this is where not to cross. See that wet stuff? That stuff could just break away and carry you down river. And you look at that, that's still low and that's fractured. That's fractured, but it's thick enough to stand on. So I'll stand there, and then I see this is a thick enough chunk to stand on, and I can see the bottom of the water through the cracks in the ice. So across there back to land, and now I'm safely back on dry land. And I'm just watching for moose antlers, because there's a chance that I find one. This stuff can break your legs if you're not careful. So always test what you're stepping on when you come up and see logs, because usually they're crisscrossed over the top of each other. Grab a tree for support. You can see the moose knocked all these leaves off as they were browsing on these willows. Oop, there's what I'm talking about. There's a hole. It really hurt my leg. So swing my other foot around, slowly lift out of there. Tested a couple times by stopping. One time when I was moose hunting, I thought I was walking in 3-foot tall grass, but all that grass was growing on the tops of fallen trees, and I fell through them like a trap door and dropped about another 15 feet underneath all this raft of trees into a ravine. It was like totally pitch black, and had to like fight my way out of there. So you really have to be careful of the terrain where you're walking. I think we'd see a lot of lynx tracks right now with the snow so hard and their feet are so wide, they just float right across the top of it. But maybe once we get into these cottonwood trees, there'll be soft enough snow to see some. Something was milling around here with wider feet. Like a wolf or a coyote. Oh, let's see. I'm going to have to find an easier spot to cross this creek. More wolf tracks there. Those are for sure wolf. Will that get me there? Oh, that's so narrow and slippery. If I wasn't worried about hurting myself, maybe I'd do it. Okay. Well, I'm going to put this phone in my pocket with the camera sticking out and try to get across this without getting hurt. Or not, because it's pretty deep right there. One second. Well, this isn't crazy, is it? Thank you, Lord Jesus Christ. Okay. I smell moose really strong right now. I'm looking through the trees to see if he's looking at me. He's been watching me for a while already. It smells like a bull moose. They get kind of a pungent, musky smell. I'm not sure what happened to this tree. That's interesting. Maybe just the weight of the snow and the ice ripped it open in half. You can see something ran across and jumped there from there and ran down that way. Jumped on that ice too. Dangerous to walk on these because it's break and slide off and then you fall and get hurt. Don't see much going on in this stuff.